Hi, I'm Angie with Flippin' Rad Resale. I have been a reseller for over 20 years. I have been on all of the platforms, but I was on eBay for over 20 years and have decided to ditch them and head on over to Whatnot. I've also been on Etsy, Depop, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, all of them. I have actually gotten kicked off of Etsy. What? And Facebook Marketplace. What? And Depop. And I'm small time, but if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. So it's good to pivot, right? And I've been on eBay for years, and my algorithms have just been terrible. All of my listings have been buried. I have been spending hours and hours and hours on there without making sales. My 90-day total was like $75. So I'm out of there and I'm on Whatnot now. And it's been pretty crazy, to say the least. I tried Whatnot last year and I had 3 shows with no buyers and no sales. And I thought, well, I guess I suck at this. But, I just decided to give it another try after Christmas. And what do you know? I have had some mild success. My 30-day total is $6,040.40. That is before my cost of goods and things, of course. But I think that's pretty wild. That's an average of $2,000 a month. I do this very part-time as well because I have other businesses that also need my attention. So some things that I have learned is it's not great to do pop-ups if you don't have much of a following and you don't necessarily want to be scheduling things early in the day. So you want to be scheduling things a little bit later. I would say there's kind of a magic window between 7 p.m. and later. And you want to organize it ahead of time. So you want to preload your shop. You can also do blind polls, but people like to see what the heck you're going to sell. And then it gives people opportunities to pre-bid on things. How lovely is that? Where you get to your show and you're selling things and there's stuff that already have pre-bids. It's pretty great. I've been very, very diligent about promoting my shows on all of the social media platforms. Besides here on TikTok, I'm also on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. I think that's everything. And, I get different amount of views on all of them, but I seem to be getting the most amount of views on YouTube doing YouTube Shorts, even though I only have 11 subscribers. They say that the YouTube Shorts can just keep gaining follows or keep gaining views when the other social media platforms just kind of stop after a minute. So sure enough, my last post here on TikTok got 150 or something like that, but on YouTube, it got 1,400 views. What? So there's a lot of things you can't do on all the platforms when you don't have a lot of subscribers, but you can still do a lot. Like, the whole link in bio thing is just not going to be clickable until you have enough followers. But there's ways around that, and you can just tell people to copy and paste. So that's not a huge deal. I've noticed that sometimes people will come into your show and bully you a little bit, try to get you to run stuff for lower, offer you crazy low prices, just be kind and don't get defensive, don't get crabby, and just let them know, like, sorry, that's not going to be enough for me. I'd lose money at that. I will hold on to it or sell it to somebody else instead. Just kind of be kind to people. You don't have to be like a rude person. Let's see. I also have put postcards in all of my shipments that say, please give me a follow with a thank you. And I have also sent some handwritten cards in people's shipments that have spent a bunch of money with me to just thank them and remind them to follow me. And you also want to be consistent where you have your shows kind of at the same time every week. So I do Barbies in watches, and then miscellaneous shows because the watches and the Barbies do really well for me. And then I'm like trying to work in the rest of the things because I have tons of eBay inventory that's left that I need to go through. So I do Barbie shows on Fridays, and then I'm trying to do like rotating shows of different things on Wednesdays, and then I'm doing watches sometimes on Saturdays, sometimes on Thursdays. So yes, that's not very consistent, but I have noticed that I've built up a good following for watch people pretty quickly, and that I can do a pop-up with if it's watches and have enough people to have a decent show as long as I have a ton of inventory. I have not found that to be true necessarily with Barbies, but I have also heard, and haven't tried it, that if you go live kind of late, like you stay on kind of late, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that you can potentially have sold out shows. So I'm going to try that next, even though I'm a tired old lady and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But I just kind of want to see if you do have more success when you're selling later. It makes sense. People that work until 7 or 8 get off of work and they're in their jammies and they're online. And that's usually when I'm online too, looking at whatnot, is when I'm in my bed in my jammies. So, obviously we would rather do earlier shows for quality of life purposes, but you're trying to build a following, so you want to do your best to build up those followers and be there for them weekly, and offer some good stuff. I've also noticed that a lot of people use AI when they're making their thumbnails. I don't know why I did that. Their thumbnails. I don't know why I just did that for to promote your shows and whatnot. So it's like a sea of AI posters. So I'm trying to stand out, and I will put like an actual picture of myself with some of the things that I sell, or like a short video or whatever. I'm not going to get lost in the masses of the AI stuff. So I think that's definitely something to consider as well. So that's about it. If you have any questions, I might be able to answer them. I'm also utilizing a printing tool called NotBot that was put out by Kelsey at Mellow State, where you hook up a thermal printer, it can see your shows live, and it will print out labels for you as you go. So you stay really organized, and it cuts down your shipping time. So you make boxes for your customers, and the label system helps you do that without even having to think about it or write it down. You can also just use Post-its, but I was having trouble. I have ADD, so I was getting things confused, and then the shipping was taking forever. So I definitely highly recommend NotBot or one of those similar things. I think NotBot is the most inexpensive one, though, and potentially one of the easier ones to use. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole whatnot thing, guys. If you're thinking about starting, what the heck are you waiting for? Just go for it. Just start. Just have some shows and keep going until you have success. And thank you so much for watching.